Hello everybody, and welcome to Star Mountain Outdoors and Bushcraft. I'm John, and today is episode 11 of my Pecos Wilderness series. Today I am hiking the Winsor National Recreation Trail. I started at the Winsor Creek Trail Head, and I'm heading to the Aspen Basin Trail Head, and I'm planning to stop for the night at Spirit Lake. So, come on and join me. To get to the trailhead, take New Mexico 63 north from Pecos about 20.3 miles until you get to Cowles, New Mexico. Take a left and follow the one-lane road to the end. From the trail heads west for about a mile until it meets up with Winsor Creek. It crosses the creek, goes around a switchback, and then gradually heads up the hill until you get to the point of a ridge. There the trail heads west and meets up with the Holy Ghost Trail junction. The next trail junction is with the Skyline Trail just across Winsor Creek. Go left here and a steep trail takes you up the hill for about a half a mile. Stay straight at the junction with the Skyline Trail again, and continue until you cross Winsor Creek for one final time. Then the trail heads south towards Spirit Lake. From Spirit Lake, the trail takes you out to the point of another ridge, where you again turn westward and follow the ridge until you get to a saddle. Here is another junction with the Skyline Trail, but continue heading west towards Porto Nambe. At Porto Nambe, keep heading west. Go straight at the Rio Nambe Trail junction. And just continue going straight through the next two trail junctions. And soon you will find yourself at the trailhead down at Aspen Basin, or more commonly referred to as the Santa Fe Ski Basin. There's a burned area next to the trail here. It looks recent. I don't remember this from last year. Yeah, this is completely fresh. And there was a Windsor Ridge fire over here this year. But I thought it was on Windsor Ridge, which is the opposite ridge. That's what the Forest Service was saying. This is along the Winsor Trail, but it's not Windsor Ridge. So, interesting. Okay, this is the top of the ridge where the trail kind of climbs over the top southwards and then heads west, which is that way through the trees. And that's going to be the major direction that this trail's heading in. So let's go. There's a nice forest through here. Mixed conifers. Some old growth ponderosa pine, some white fir, and some Douglas fir. And after a gradual ascent the whole way, the trail flattens out nicely right through here. I'm up on top of the ridge and the trail is just as flat as a pancake through here again. Today I'm having a jalapeno tuna wrap. Should be tasty, and it even came with a sport, so I won't have to carve chopsticks tonight, which is pretty cool. Alright, the trail has moved over from the south side of the ridge to the north side of the ridge now, and went through a stand of mostly Doug fir and some subalpine fir, that sort of thing, a couple spruce, and now we're entering a stand of aspen, and of course we're starting to get a little bit of color in here. It's pretty nice. I'm on the other side of the shortcut trail now. It is closed, technically. It's not maintained by the U.S. Forest Service anymore. But it does get you to Stewart Lake a lot faster, and most people use it. But it's a shame, because this trail is pretty. We're just before the junction with the Skyline Trail, just across the Winsor Creek crossing, and there's a nice campsite right here. Here's the creek crossing, and the trail junction is just on the other side there. I don't know if you can see the sign or not. No more nice gradual trail climbing up the hill. It's starting to get steep and switchbacky here. I believe this is the last trail intersection, and I'm heading on the Winsor Trail that way. Here's the last stream crossing of Winsor Creek. The trail goes off in that direction, and it's about a mile, I think, to Spirit Lake from here. And I'm going to fill up on water here because I know that this water is cleaner than the water at Spirit Lake. So I'm going to pack 4 liters for the last mile. Okay, for the moment I'm climbing moderately up a rocky trail after the creek crossing. Okay, the trail was climbing quite a bit for a while, but now there's some flatter spots. And you can see that we're out of the aspen forest now and we're in a stand of spruce. Okay, I climbed up to the top of a ridge, and it looks like the trail's going down now, and I think it's going down towards the lake. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Okay, I was really wrong, but it's a much easier downhill section now and smoother trail. I'm at the lake. First views of the lake through the trees, and I think I see a campsite down there. Looks far enough from the lake, I think I'll give it a shot. Alright, I got my camp set up. It's actually the same camp I had last year, believe it or not. Here's a look at Spirit Lake from the south shore. As the sun's starting to go down here. Won't be long and it'll be down behind the mountain anyway. Alright folks, the sun is going down behind the hill. It's time to get a fire going. So let me just give you some quick notes on my proven wilderness fire starting technique here. So the first thing you do is build a base to get your fire kind of up off the ground and get some wood underneath it, some fuel underneath it. That way it gives the chance for the ground underneath it to dry out a little bit and it doesn't suck the life out of your fire as quickly. And you have some handfuls of twigs, starting with fine diameter, medium diameter, and a little larger, ready to go. And then you have your tinder in the middle. In this case, it's fir needles, because these subalpine fir needles go up like rocket fuel almost. So let's give it a test run and see what happens. So far, so good. I think we're ready for the finer diameter pieces here. And see, these are just like support blocks to keep that up off the tinder so it doesn't put it out. And they're catching on fire, which helps the fire too. Okay, time for the second load. Make sure there's enough air in it. And that goes right on top. Just some extra twigs laying around I'm throwing on. Gosh, it's strong enough for the third layer. It's really going. Now this thing is not going to go out. I can put some larger pieces on. And you put them like a log cabin fire, you know, perpendicular to the bottom pieces. There you go. That'll keep enough oxygen circulating through the fire to keep it going. And we are set. Marshmallows, anybody? Well, the fire's going, the sun's going down. I guess it's time to start cooking up some noodles, right? Some ramen noodles? Oh, heck no, not tonight. Wait till you see what I've brought. I've got a ribeye steak. I've got Chicago steak seasoning. I've got roasted garlic mashed potatoes. And I've got asparagus with some garlic pepper salt, or excuse me, some garlic salt, pepper, and that sort of thing. And the kicker, I brought wine. It's gonna be a good night. Okay, that's what it looks like, all seasoned up. And did I forget to mention that I brought a pat of butter for the asparagus too? I'm going to go ahead and put the asparagus on first because they are still a little bit frozen. As you can see, I made a big pile of coals underneath where I'm going to do my cooking. Always cook over the coals, not the actual fire. And I built the fire a little further away. And I'm going to burn through those 2 logs to make more logs that I can just kind of push into the fire and keep it going. Oh, what a pretty fire. Okay, as you can see, I've got the victuals on the fire. The asparagus was melted and the butter was melting, so I took it off the coals and put it up on the grill and put the steak on. So things should be cooking nicely. Oh, and I've probably drank the equivalent of a glass and a half of wine already. I didn't realize, if you look at the bottom there, this is equivalent to 3 glasses of wine. It's a bit much for me. I usually stop myself at about 2 glasses of wine in the evening. But I should sleep extremely well. Okay, I gotta say, if I was doing a review on this wine, it's very good. It says it's won over 30 gold medals and stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, it's a box of wine. How good could it be? But it's surprisingly dry. It's not too sweet. You know, I'm not a wine expert, obviously, but it's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. I hope this stuff doesn't go flying. Okay, to me, that looks like it's ready. I just checked the veggies. They look like they're ready too. The potatoes are ready. I think it's time to plate it up and eat. Alright, here's the finished product. Oh my gosh, ribeye, potatoes, asparagus, my spork from earlier, and I have a real knife to cut the steak with. Bon appetit. Okay everybody, it's just a little after 7:30 and I finished my dinner. Oh, it was good. I've still got a little more wine to sip and I'm enjoying a good fire. But I think for now, for video at least, I'm gonna call it quits and wish everybody a good night, and I will see you in the morning. Good morning everybody, and welcome to day 2. Today is going to be kind of a slow day. My pickup time is not until 6 o'clock or so this evening, and I only have about 6 miles to hike out, so I've got some time to spend around the lake today, which will be nice. I've got about a 6.2 mile hike out to the trailhead where I'm going to be picked up, and that's pretty much how the day is going to go. Yesterday was a tremendous day, had a really good time. The scenery was beautiful, the weather was a little bit hot but nice, and the meal was excellent. Who could ask for more? I even got to hike with my wife and son for the first mile of the trip, so it was a good day, and I hope today is just as good. You're almost standing on top of me here. I can reach out and touch you. Oops. You're not going to sit on my finger? It is a little bit cold this morning. It's probably around 9:30 and it's only 26, 27 degrees. A quick double check of camp reveals that it's all cleaned up. Looks good. And I did straighten up around the fire pit, leave some wood, that sort of thing, some tinder for the next camper. So, I guess it's time to go. Now, as I'm leaving my campsite and heading off down the trail, this is the way I came from last night. The trail goes up through there, and there's a tree that fell across it right here, so somebody marked it with some cairns that go around through here, and the trail goes that way. That's the outlet stream over there. Goes straight across and the trail goes up the hill from there. And I almost forgot to mention, the campsites are on your left here on the east side of the lake. This is where most of the people camp. It looks like the most heavily used campsite right here, but it's too close to the trail and the lake. So my campsite was further back down the hill there. Okay, this is looking back the way I came again. And I just went through there across the outlet stream. The outlet stream is not flowing right now, by the way. Okay, the trail so far is just heading south at, a very slight grade. I just came from that direction, and about a half mile from the lake, you kind of go up to the end of a ridge, and the trail rounds a bend, and then follows the ridge line west. After that bend, you're just kind of going through a scraggly, half-dead forest of spruce and fir. Oh my gosh, this poor forest. There's barely a tree alive in here. Penitente Peak is hiding behind that cloud bank there. Can you see the grouse up there? That's as far as I can zoom in. Let me get a little closer. Oh, there it goes. I was putting away my camera and another one came running up. Check it out, that's funny. Alright folks, I am finally up to the divide. Everything to the west of me flows out to the Rio Grande, and everything behind me flows east towards the Pecos River. And I'm at the trail junction where the Skyline Trail and the Winsor Trail part ways. Okay, I've come to the conclusion that for today, my best course of action is to just go all the way through since I have a short hike, and end the day a little early at Aspen Basin Campground, and there I can collect some firewood, build a little campfire until my wife comes to pick me up at 6. So I think that's the plan. So let's continue on. Just over the divide, the trail becomes very nice, level to downhill, and smooth. Excellent hiking. Alright, I made it out to one of the little grassy openings of Porto Nambe, but unfortunately the clouds are shrouding any views of the mountains around. I just came from the right-hand fork there, and that's the trail junction with the Skyline Trail. The Skyline Trail actually followed the Winsor Trail there for a little bit and then heads up towards Lake Catherine. Okay, after descending quite a bit, I've come to this little water source here. And the trail crosses over it right here. Nice little stream. And the trail descended down a few switchbacks. It was maybe moderately steep, not too steep, but pretty rocky. And now it's time to continue on. Okay, here's water source number 2 that goes across the trail. I just came from this direction. And as I pointed out on my last video through here, if you follow this little use trail up to behind these boulders, there's some campsites back in there. And it's near this little water source. Pretty little spot. Now we're at the junction with the Rio Nambe Trail. And that's a day hike I have for you coming up. And it goes down that way. The wild strawberries are looking nice and red right now. And we're starting to get down into the aspens now. No matter where I am on the trail, I'm surrounded by fall color. It's just beautiful out here. Look at these slopes of grouse whortleberry. Beautiful. I wish it was just a little sunnier so you could see just how golden these aspens are. They're really spectacular. Made it to the next trail junction. And this trail is just a cut-off trail that goes down to the Rio Nambe. And we will continue to go this way. I don't know how well this is coming out on the camera, but here's a somewhat rare red-colored aspen. This is the nicest spot on the trail. I kind of dislike this area of the trail just because it's so rocky. After going through that rocky section of trail, I'm sure appreciative of what the Wilderness Volunteers of New Mexico did for this trail through here. It's so much better without the rocks. Thank you guys. Okay, I'm coming down over the saddle, and I think it's about half mile to 3/4 of a mile down to the bottom, to the trailhead, and then I will have completed my little through hike of the Winsor Trail. It's a good view of some aspens toward the end of the trail here. The last switchback. Okay, right across that bridge is the Trailhead. And the Winsor Trail actually continues down for I think 7 or 8 more miles down to Tsuke. Dang, I see a tent at my usual camp spot, so I'm gonna have to hang out here for the next few hours. This is exactly what I needed at the end of the day. A nice warm fire. The temperature has only gotten up to about 38, 40 degrees today, 40 in the sun. And it's just been kind of a cold, dreary day. Overall, it was a wonderful trip. I had a good time and I really enjoyed the fall colors. So don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Have a good one. Trip information. The distance was 15.2 miles, difficulty moderate to hard, time required 1 to 3 days, features fall colors, wildlife, spirit lake, and views, the season June through October, usage heaviest used trail in the Pecos Wilderness, especially on the Santa Fe side. Additional notes, contact the Pecos Las Vegas or the Espanola Ranger Districts of the Santa Fe National Forest for information on current trail conditions and fire restrictions. The Winsor National Recreation Trail is one of only 2 NRTs in the Pecos Wilderness.